Hi, Andre here today with tips on loading continuous feed folding machines. I've seen novice and experienced operators alike suffer big production losses because of a simple oversight in loading their continuous feeders. This is one of those 80-20 problems in which a small, possibly unimportant detail suddenly has an oversized impact on production. The secret to high-yield production on any bindery equipment is to keep it running continuously. So anything that stops the folder thus prevents maximum yield. In my experience, one of the main reasons for folder stops is double sheets at the feeder. This has two common causes. One, paper isn't adequately fanned and separated, and two, the paper itself is stuck together. In this simplified side view diagram of paper loaded on a continuous feeder, you can see why it's easy to get doubles, especially with thinner stock. Once the fan paper rounds the drum to advance to the feeder, that out-of-order sheet becomes the lead sheet. Now the feeder picks up the lead sheet along with the second sheet that's on top of it. With the feeder fully loaded, you might have several thousand sheets in the machine, depending on the sheet size. If your loading is a bit sloppy or you have sheets stuck together, at this point you have two choices. Suffer through the doubles, and there could be lots of them, or unload the machine, jog the sheets, reload, and start again. Both scenarios take a lot of time. Here are 4 things to help your loading technique. First, how you load and fan the sheets varies with the size and weight of the paper. But whatever your technique, be sure to jog the sheets if they need it. Paper trimmed on a guillotine will probably be okay. If you're loading sheeted forms, you're likely to see a small variation in dimensions. Be sure to jog these to the lead edge, otherwise you'll get doubles and/or inconsistent feeding. You can even give it a quick jog right on the feed board. If it's a troublesome job, use the jogging table. Second, use your thumb or a smooth, rounded hardwood board to separate the trailing sheets. Depending on the paper, I prefer to use my thumb as shown. This gives you the chance to feel for any doubles lurking in the fanned out stack. Third, use visual clues. When you fan a lift, look at it. Consistent, even separation is important. It keeps pile height the same. This prevents endless tweaking of the air blowers at the feeder. The closer you can get the sheets, the less work you have to do. But get them too close and you'll get doubles. Too far apart and you work a lot harder to keep up with loading. I always found as a general rule of thumb that a 1/16 inch separation is good for most paper. Continuous feeders are easy to run and will tolerate a lot of variation, so don't go nuts trying to keep it perfect. With practice it gets better. You'll quickly find the right spacing for the stocks you run. The other thing about consistent spacing is it helps you see where a potential double sheet is. The overlap leaves a tiny but telltale shadow, but this shadow is harder to detect when your spacing varies. Fourth, use a rolling technique to fan the sheets. We tend to use this on lightweight, larger format sheets. However, if you have a job in which sheets are stuck together, rolling them is a good way to separate them. It's also a good technique to use on very thin stocks that don't have much stiffness. Again, jog all sheets to the lead edge. Then with a little practice, a couple of quick rolls will have the whole lift fanned out perfectly. Be careful to tuck in the lead edge so as not to damage any sheets while rolling. Obviously, you can't do this with cover stocks or small sheets. So, to quickly recap the 4 points I mentioned. 1. Jog the sheets if needed. 2. Use a tool or your thumb to separate the trailing sheets. 3. Use visual clues to monitor separation and potential doubles. 4. Learn to use a rolling technique. My main point here is not so much to show you how to load the folder. It's to remind you of the importance of developing a good technique that works for you. Pay attention to your technique so you have consistent loads, whatever your preferred method. This makes it likely your folder will run at a continuous pace. You'll produce more work with less effort. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos on the Bindery Success blog.